Yeah, maybe you get really lucky and you get a 13k non-crit beam in your run, you know?
Oh, that'd be real great.
Sure would be. Drop timings for the week. Drop timings this week, I think, is actually one of the weeks that kind of matters once again. Almost all of its mods are on global cooldown. Finding a good time to drop when those global cooldowns are going to work for you, I think is really important. With that being said, finding a time that's specific for your run, I think is more important than us telling you when to drop. For me personally, I dropped ASAP. I know Derp dropped at 46 seconds. If you're not trying to sweat it out, I just say drop whenever.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So I definitely, for my run, I just went in right away. I haven't played with the global cooldowns yet.
Right. Builds for the week. The build that I was using: 6 Berserker, 6 Overpower, 6 Predator, 6 Rage, 6 Rage Hunter, 3 Conduit, and 3 Discipline. I messed around with this build a little bit. I tried out the 3 Zerker, 3 Wild Frenzy. I really like that split with the 3 Zerker and then 3 Wild Frenzy. I really feel like it just feels really good.
For sure, that extra attack speed is definitely like nice.
Yeah, that 3 Wild Frenzy I feel like is just so efficient, and it just makes it feel so much cleaner. But what I ended up finding is I was using Embermane's Lantern in particular, and I found that my attack speed was actually getting pretty high up there. And when you get your attack speed too high, things start going weird. I ended up switching over to 6 Berserker just for that little bit of extra damage. So that's what I ended up going with. And honestly, I really like the build. For solos, at least 3 Conduit, I think is super efficient. You don't need that 6 Conduit for your groups. It has all the damage you need. I mean, Zerker, Overpower, Predator, Rage Hunter, that's everything. That's all the damage.
Yeah, and if he enrages, you definitely have a lot more uptime with that Rage Hunter than you do like just the straight Zerker as well.
And then the build that you're looking at running was the 6 Zerker, 6 Conduit, 6 Overpower, 6 Predator, 6 Rage, 3 Discipline, 3 Wild Frenzy. Big difference between this one and the one I was running was the lack of Rage Hunter. And we are just talking about a little bit. If you're able to lock Boreus down, you really shouldn't go in Rage, but I found that he actually really did go in Rage quite often, and you could play around it by letting him go in Rage. So I wanted to include that Rage Hunter, but this build I think also has a ton of damage, honestly, along with some extra attack speed with that Conduit and Wild Frenzy.
I think a big part for this build with how things are this week, there's part RNG based off where the weak spots end up spawning on Boreus. If you can use those to stagger him and they appear where you want to get the part breaks, then it'll be a lot easier to stun lock him and push him without getting me enraged.
I think both these builds are super good. The biggest choice between them is whether or not you want Boreus to enrage or whether or not he's going to enrage on your run.
Definitely. I think if like playing RNG, yours will be more consistent, but the other one will probably be just slightly faster if you get that RNG.
Yeah, I think I would agree. Lanterns for the week. This has been a kind of, I feel like a weird week for lanterns. I was very much on the Embermane train this week. Embermane helps so much with those part breaks. Attack speed is definitely welcomed, and it really helped me get my chain stagger going. But I've also seen a lot of people make good use of Pangar Lantern. The benefits of Pangar Lantern were that it cleared out the stars, it cleared out the minions for you. It was able to kind of prime some parts because you don't know where that weak spot's going to be.
For sure. I was also on the Embermane train like right now. That extra attack speed is nice for helping like get those combos in at the beginning before you start the chain breaks and like the stagger. And then the Embermane balls is good for the focused part damage.
Potions for the week. I think the potions is a little bit weird. For top runs, I think it's the classics, the Aether Drive, the Blitz, the Frenzy.
Absolutely agree.
I don't think there's any reason to change. His stagger threshold is absurdly high for whatever reason. Don't bring stagger potion. Stagger is worthless this week. You might as well have thick skull, honestly.
It wouldn't make a difference.
Yo, if you're not going for a top time, I think your potions are Blitz and Frenzy. What you bring for a third potion, I actually don't think it matters. You could bring grenades for all I care. That Aether Drive for sub 3 is going to be incredibly diminished. You don't gain any lantern charge when you're hitting his shield. So if you kill him before the shield, doesn't matter. It doesn't change a thing. But if he goes shield one time, that Aether Drive is a dead potion.
Yeah, you don't get anything out of that.
And then mods for the week. I was asked so much in my streams why Adamant Bolt over Clap for my carries. The reasons I always give for why people should always use Clap over Adamant Bolt in all your other hunts is threefold. So one, the animation for Clap is just so much better than Beam. It's faster. I feel like you don't back up as much. It's much easier to land hits on Clap than it is with Beam. If you miss the part that you're looking to hit with Beam, you wasted the entire damage. Second reason for Clap is for Clap to do more damage, you have to hit 3 parts. Equal damage is 2 parts, which should usually be very, very easy. Third reason for Clap is the stagger damage. Beam does 0 stagger damage, Clap does full stagger damage. For those 3 reasons, you should always use Clap. This trial, however, the first reason is still true. The animation is still terrible for Beam. Clap is much easier to use. However, to hit 3 or more parts on Boreus himself, I think is almost near impossible. I think you're most likely to hit 2. In addition, because of weak spot, every single part except for that weak spot is actually taking reduced damage. Beam is doing increased damage for its entire damage. Beam damage is actually going to be more than Clap damage for each usage. The third reason is stagger damage. In all my runs, I never got a single stagger. If I don't get a single stagger damage to me is completely worthless. I do not care about it at all.
All right, for sure. So if you're getting those part breaks, that's the main thing you're focusing on this week to get the staggers, is that weak spot and then the part breaks. And like you were saying, the other parts are taking less damage with the weak spot out.
The other part I also bring up is the minions and the stars could also very easily eat your Claps on this one as well. Whereas Beam will pierce. It will go straight through and still hit Boreus.
It's definitely worth giving it a shot this week.
Viable weapons for the week. Aether Striker is obviously viable until we get a meta change. Hammer, I think, is definitely viable.
Can definitely get the sub 3s with it.
Sword, I think, is actually also very viable. He gives you a lot of opportunity to counter strike, gives you plenty of opportunity to get in some good whistling blade hitting elements.
Definitely.
Chainblade, actually doing a lot better than I was expecting. I know Chainblades always perform really well on Frost weeks just because Hellion Chainblades are just so strong.
Yeah, for sure.
So definitely viable. Pike.
Yeah, I don't really think Pike's gonna stand much of a chance. Like once his ice shield goes up, you're not gonna be breaking that very quickly.
Yeah.
And with Pike, you're definitely not killing him before like that goes up.
Axe, I would say, would be probably in the similar category. I think it might be possible of a sub 3. You're definitely not getting anything sub 2.
Yeah, for sure. It's not going to be anything super impressive.
And repeaters, I would probably say probably about the same category. I don't think it's super impressive coming out of repeaters. I think it would probably sub 3 viable.
Yeah, I think sub 3 is viable with repeaters just because like they can take the ads down like without really getting too close and taking damage themselves. And
right. Yeah. So I think repeaters are definitely going to struggle. Definitely recommend something else.
For sure.
Mistakes in your run or improvements you're looking to make. With my run, the biggest mistake is losing Predator. Got hit by an enrage bubble. There's absolutely no reason to get hit by it. I had actually thought I dashed out of range of it, but I dashed into a wall and that kind of stopped me from going any further. If I hadn't done that, I would have kept Predator up for the rest of the fight. I think I could have easily shaved off 4 to 6 seconds, I think.
One of the mistakes, like getting hit by the enrage is there, but he does an animation that's similar to when he's about to enrage, and sometimes I'll lose like a second or two just thinking I did enough damage and he's gonna enrage, but he actually doesn't.
Strategy inside the arena. The strategy that I used, I was looking to break a weak spot as soon as possible. I wanted him to enrage ASAP, so I did as much damage as I could outside of the weak spot while still kind of priming that weak spot to pop as soon as he enraged. After he enraged, I wanted an immediate pop on that. After that weak spot pop, I wanted to chain stagger him with a break part as well as bombers, and I wanted that chain stagger to last long enough for me to get that second weak spot up, and then I wanted to break that as soon as possible. After the weak spot break on the second part, I wanted to break on that part, and then I wanted him to die.
I was thinking for solos without like wanting the enrage, ideally I want to get like both weak spots on both legs. So you get the first one, you start priming the 2 legs while he's on the ground. You get at least 1 leg break, weak spot appears on the other leg, and you want to break that and then get that leg. I think that's going to be the play for getting the kill without the enrage.
Top times. Top time for this week for solos is 37 seconds. I think that time is actually definitely beatable. I was thinking that like a sub 30 is possible, but I think that one is like the perfect run.
for sure.
I think realistically, we're going to see probably like lower 30s, like 32, 33 or something like that is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, it'll probably be real low 30s. Like you said, for like sub 30, it's probably possible, but you're going to need perfect like RNG and like the crits when you need them.
Yep, exactly. Top 5 right now is 40 seconds. I think that's definitely going to go down to, I'd like to say like 35 just because of how many people are doing these runs, but I think more realistically probably like 37-ish, 38 maybe.
I was probably going to say 35 like you, just because like Derp will probably get a better time. Shanks and Helltrix are going to definitely get up there with a better time. Doesn't look like 30's put in a whole lot of time yet, so he's normally pretty high up there.
Top 100 for solos is 136 right now. Oh man, I wanted to say like 120, maybe like 125, 130, something like that.
Okay. Maybe I'm giving people too much faith. I was thinking probably around the 120 like you originally were thinking, sub 120s for sure.
You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going with you, man. You convinced me.
All right.
I believe in the people. The people have constantly outdone my predictions. Groups, top time right now is 26. I think once again, that's highly beatable. I was actually thinking sub 20 this week.
I agree with that. Sub 20 is definitely possible. Yep.
Oh my dude, I'm so excited. I was feeling a little bit nervous with the top time only being 26. I want to say 17 again. 17 I think is usually about as quick as you can go in trials.
I think probably like between 17 to 9, like 17, 18 is possible.
Currently top 5 right now is 31. Once again, I think top 5 is easily going to be maybe 21 seconds, something like that. Maybe not quite 20, sub 20. I don't think we've seen a top 5 time just yet.
I agree. I don't think any of these times are going to stick.
Top 100 for groups is 125 currently. I think 45 being conservative.
Okay, I was actually going to say like the same thing because there's like a 41 up there. I already know where all 4 of them were using Iceborne.
45 I think is conservative, but I think more realistically, I think definitely like 40, at least low 40s, like 41, 42 maybe, but I would be very nervous if my time was 40.
Agreed. Because like right now, 40's already at like 27 and that's going to get pushed down. It's the second day the trial's out. Not a lot of people have really run yet. And then, you know, people are always cycling people through, trying to change up, get like different teams and everything.
Hey guys, don't forget to leave a comment in case we missed anything. Once again, let me know what you guys think is going to be the next trial for next week. I'm super excited to see what it is. I was really expecting Hellion this week. I was really thrown aback by seeing Boreus. I'd be really curious what you guys think. If you guys like the content, think about subscribing. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers for Dauntless Partner, so I'd really appreciate it if you guys did. Thanks and see you guys next week.